Hello, Serious Survivor here, and today we're going to look at 50 valuable items, not just for personal use, personal consumption, and use within your group, but also items that would come in as extremely valuable barter items in a grid down scenario, especially after the initial phase when barter does begin to establish itself as a means to trade goods. So this is a long list. I'm not going to spend much time on each particular topic, but first a word from our sponsors. Friends, it seems like big government and tech giants are trying to destroy America. Everything they touch turns into a disaster. Pretty soon the whole system will fall apart, and the first thing to fail will be the food supply chain. So do you have enough emergency food to get through a serious long-term crisis where you can't get food at the grocery store? Most people don't, and they'll panic when the time comes. That's why the smart move now is to get long-term storage food before things go bad. I highly recommend My Patriot Supply. They've served millions of American families and have over 41,000 4- and 5-star reviews. Their mission is your survival, and right now you can save 25% on a 4-week kit of emergency food that will save the day, and probably soon. Order a starter kit for each member of your family and they'll ship everything quickly and discreetly to your door. Go to preparewithSeriousSurvivor.com so you can claim your 4-week emergency food kit and save 25% in the process. That's preparewithSeriousSurvivor.com. These are in no particular order. Number 1, toothpaste and toothbrushes. The value of these is basically self-explanatory, but these will be extremely valuable not just to you to help maintain proper dental hygiene, but as a trading or barter commodity. Number 2, soap and shampoo. People are going to need to keep their personal hygiene up, and for some people this isn't going to matter, but for other people they will find these products extremely valuable, and they may even be valuable to people within your group or as a good barter item. Number 3, feminine products, and the need for these is also self-explanatory. These are items that are necessary to an extent, but they will be valuable and they will hold value as a barter commodity. Number 4, toilet paper. Need I say more on that? Number 5, gasoline. Although the shelf life, if you want to call it that, of gasoline is somewhat limited, maybe up to 3 years, maybe a little bit longer if you're using some type of stabilizing product, the value of gasoline is going to be tremendous as not just a barter item, but as an item or commodity that you need for yourself or your group. Number 6, LP gas or propane. Having this type of gas because the shelf life of these gases is indefinite, so if you can store these, then they're going to last forever, and this is going to be a popular way for people to cook, for people to even power their vehicles if their vehicles are converted over to run with LP gas, which was done earlier in World War II by European citizens who had no gas due to the gas shortage caused by the German army. Number 7, electricity. The means to generate electricity, solar panels, wind generators, or any means necessary is going to be extremely valuable, because if it is a grid down and you are able to produce electricity, then you will have, other than food, the most valuable product on the market. Number 8, electrical wire. Because as the rebuilding phase begins, people are going to need to wire up devices. They're going to need to run wire. When we think about putting together a solar system, we can have the solar panels, the charge controller, and the devices we want to power, but without having the appropriate wiring that we can actually wire these devices up, then they're pretty much going to be useless. So this will be an excellent barter commodity. Number 9, water purification services or devices. The devices themselves, the tablets and such, will be valuable in this type of scenario, but also having the ability to purify large quantities of water will make you invaluable to your community, your group, and also as an excellent barter tool. Number 10, cigarettes. Cigarettes will be an excellent barter commodity whether you smoke or not. These will hold value to those that do smoke. Number 11, alcohol. Alcohol will have extreme value in the apocalypse, especially after people are stressing out and such as that. A lot of people are going to want to drink. Now this can have an adverse effect within the group, so we want to keep that in mind, but this will be an excellent barter commodity and will make you more popular among the people that you are with. Number 12 may be a little controversial, but just to be blunt here, if you have the ability to grow marijuana, marijuana will be an excellent barter item in this type of situation. It already is these days, so I expect it to only continue through any type of scenario. Number 13, pet food. Now, pet food may not be easy to come by after the apocalypse, but you know, there are some around now. While everyone's scavenging other places, keep this in mind that you can put these items back, keep them for a while, and people will spend money on their pets. They do. If we look at the amount of money people spend these days on their pets, you know good and well that a lot of people will barter or trade for certain types of pet food. Number 14, heavy duty shoes, boots, and belts. These types of things are going to have extreme value, not in the initial phases, but after a year or two has gone by, when people's device and people's items that they already have begin to wear out, the belts break, things like that. If you think about a lot of people that you know, how many people actually wear around heavy duty leather belts? I know I do myself, and a lot of people do, but a lot of people prefer the fashion type of belts if they wear one at all. So these are not going to last very long in this type of situation, and you can expect people to be losing weight in a grid down, so they're going to need belts to keep their pants up and shoes and boots to keep their feet safe. Number 15, gloves and headwear. These are also protective gear, you know, if you're in a cold weather environment, but they're also excellent gear for any environment. Number 16, a knife, an axe, or hatchet. These devices are essential, and they will not only be essential to the initial phases of survival, but these will also be excellent barter commodities later on, because we have to take into account nothing more is being produced. What we have in stock, basically, or what we have stockpiled, may very well be all there is left of that particular item in our area. So the more things that we can keep on hand, if you have the ability, the better off you're going to be in the end. Number 17, a FIRESTEEL. A FIRESTEEL is an excellent means of starting a fire if you don't have a lighter or something like that. And a FIRESTEEL is very popular and very common. Now, these will not be extremely valuable in the apocalypse, but they will be highly tradable, I do believe. Number 18, rope. Rope has so many uses, we could make an entire video just about that, but this is a very useful item, and if you have excess rope, then you have an excellent barter item. Number 19, backpacks. Now, I know it may not seem convenient to store several backpacks, but if you think about going into thrift stores and places like that, you can pick these things up dirt cheap. And there are a lot of preppers in the US, but there are a lot more people out there that do not have this type of equipment. So these types of backpacks will be valuable as a trading item after the initial phase of grid down. Number 20, maps. Maps of the area that a person is in will be extremely valuable, especially for those who are trying to traverse or make it from one location to the next. It's going to be difficult to do if they don't have a map, and most people don't store a lot of maps. I know as a prepper I do, and a lot of preppers out there do, but if you have multiples of these, they will make a good barter commodity. And number 21, maps not much good without a compass unless it's just a city road map. So compass, we can pick up compasses pretty cheap, and you can usually get the cheaper ones, $5 or less, although I may not want to rely on them with my life, but these will be an excellent barter item. Number 22, lubricating oil for firearms and for other devices. And this is also something that can be manually produced after the grid is down. So people are going to have a need for this. It may not be the most valuable item out there, but it is an item of value. Number 23, tools of any types. Number 24, booby traps. It may not seem convenient to build and sell booby traps, but that's not what I mean by this. I mean the ability to build them. Your ability to build booby traps for others in your area will pay off, as you will be able to barter this service by building defenses for them and get the goods you need in the process. Number 25, black powder or gunpowder. Gunpowder tends to sort of come and go, and what I mean is there's a lot of shortages on it. Sometimes it's harder to stockpile than others, and black powder is a little cheaper, a little easier to get, and this can be used from everything from, you know, starting a fire all the way to creating improvised throwing explosive devices. Number 26, cookware and utensils. Cookware and utensils are definitely going to be something to barter with. These are really easy to get right now. They're really cheap right now. After a grid down, we have to remember nothing else will be produced. So what's out there is all that's out there. So the more you have, the easier you'll be able to trade these. They're not a high dollar item, but they are something you can get a little something of what you need. Number 27, fertilizer. Fertilizer will be necessary, especially in some areas of the country, and it will have excellent barter value. Number 28, blankets or cloth. This is also going to be a good barter item because not everyone stores blankets or spare cloth, and having these, especially in cold weather environments, will possibly be something that's worth its weight in gold. Number 29, fishing gear. Fishing gear is very easy to come by, and I'm not talking about the lures and the baits, because in this type of scenario a lot of people are going to be catching, cutting bait, or digging up their worms for themselves. I'm talking about the actual monofilament line and possibly even some collapsible or some decent fishing rods. Number 30, storage containers. Storage containers may not seem like something that would be a barter item, but for those that are bugging in, they're going to be cooking, they're going to be eating, and if they don't have storage containers or Ziploc bags or something to that effect, then they're not going to be able to store their food for very long, and that's going to be limiting to them. These are not the most expensive barter commodity, but they will be something that holds value to some people. In the beginning of the video, I said I wasn't going to talk about food or food things, but seeds are something that we get from the crops we grow, but I also think these will be one of the most valuable barter commodities out there. Number 32, nails, nuts, bolts, screws. These types of fastening supplies are going to be absolutely necessary when constructing defenses and when rebuilding any type of area that you're in. It doesn't matter if I've got the hammer and the wood. If I don't have the nails or the screws, then I'm not going to be able to construct much, at least not easy, and it's not going to be as sturdy. Number 33, cleaning supplies of all types, especially for those who are bugging in. This list, as we said earlier, is going to be different for those who are bugging out and those who are bugging in. This is more of a bug in type of barter item, and if you can store the cleaning supplies and you're willing to trade them, then a lot of people will barter for these. Number 34, binoculars. Binoculars or monoculars. Either ones of these is going to be necessary, especially for those bugging out, and those bugging in, you'll need these for monitoring the security of your perimeter and things such as that. These are not cheap in today's society, so I expect the barter value of these to be very expensive. Number 35, trapping, snaring gear. The type of gear that you would need to trap, to snare small animals. These are usually pretty small kits, pretty small traps, and these are easy to come by right now. They're actually easy to build yourself if you know how to do it. And these are going to be very valuable, and not just to you and your group for catching it, but they'll also be very valuable to trade to people passing through that area or those who are bugging out. Number 36, tire plug and patch kits, and possibly inner tubes or fix-a-flat if you can get a hold of those. As time goes by, people will have flat tires, and if they don't have the ability to plug these tires, to patch the inner tubes and things like that, then cars are going to be useless without tires, and so will motorcycles and bicycles. So if you're going to have any type of transportation, you're going to need a way to fix the tires on that particular device. Number 37, and this is more of something that would be an outstanding barter item if you could come across one, but it's a Halligan. A Halligan is a tool. It's a forcible entry tool. It's used by police departments and fire departments, and you can't really easily get a hold of one of these, and that's because they're usually restricted to law enforcement or fire departments and services like that. But after the collapse, then you may be scavenging particular areas and you may run across these. Not only are they excellent for your personal use, but they would hold tremendous value from barter and trade. Number 38, sunglasses. Sunglasses is basically eye protection during the day, and especially if you're in a Arctic environment or in a cold weather environment where there's a lot of snow, snow blindness, we've all heard of that. And sunglasses will be a tradable commodity, although I wouldn't expect them to fetch top dollar. 39, something that would bring more money, and that's reading glasses. And I'll use myself as an example there. I can barely read a book these days without my glasses on, so having extra reading glasses, I would probably be willing to pay a little more for these than I would be for some of the other items on the list. And that ties right into number 40. Books, manuals, cookbooks, books of all types, survival manuals, first aid manuals, cookbooks, how to grow crops, how to identify edible plants, every type of book that you can imagine on survival. Number 41, radiation gear. Now this does depend depend on the type of event. If it's just a normal grid down, then your heavy duty radiation gear is not going to be highly tradable, but I do believe that a portion of it, such as gas mask, will be. Most preppers realize that a gas mask is a pretty important part of your preps, and it's not just for radiological or CBRN conditions, it's also for smoky environments, dusty environments. With a gas mask, you know, if there's a dust storm, you will be much better off. So these are very tradable items, and they are of very high value. Number 42, tarps and tents. These speak for themselves, especially those bugging out or those who have bugged out or try to integrate into a community but they have nowhere to stay. Then tarps and tents to build shelter are going to be a necessity. Number 43, and this sort of ties into electricity earlier in this, and this is lighting. Means to light, like light bulbs, the sockets themselves, the lighting systems, things that can be plugged into solar systems. These aren't the cheapest in the world, but these are some things that we can attain pretty easy right now and can put back in small spaces. They don't take up a whole lot of space. Number 44, duct tape. Duct tape speaks for itself. Number 45, automobile fuses. If the grid is down, then automobile fuses will not be produced anymore, just like anything else. And if it was an EMP or similar type of scenario, then a lot of the fuses in a lot of the vehicles will be blown. And for some vehicles, that may be the only problem they have. Having a lot of these on hand will only benefit you in the long run. Number 46, plywood. After a collapse and after the grid is down, then wood will not necessarily be in short supply, but plywood will. And plywood is very strong and very effective at building barriers, making repairs, building defenses. So this is an excellent commodity to have for your community or group, but also for bartering in the future. Number 47, garbage bags. And this may be something people don't think about a lot, but having a lot of extra boxes of garbage bags stored, if you're in a bug-in scenario, especially one that you're in a residential area or suburban area and you're in communications with your neighbors, I pretty much guarantee that not all of the neighbors have thought about garbage. And having garbage bags to put this stuff in is going to be a decent barter commodity. I would not expect top dollar, but I would expect something in return for it. Number 48, laundry detergent. Laundry detergent is going to be very valuable because we need to keep our clothes clean to help keep ourselves clean, to help keep ourselves healthy. Number 49, baby supplies. Any and all types of baby supplies, bottles, diapers, formula, anything. I think formula has a very long shelf life, so this is something that could be stockpiled. But these will hold tremendous value. The problem I see with these is people gouging other people, and I hope that that doesn't happen. Number 50, candles. Candles go sort of tie into the lighting above, but candles are, you know, a little simpler to use. You don't have to wire anything up, and they're not going to give off as much light as an incandescent bulb or an LED bulb, but these will, you know, light your area fairly well or well enough to make things manageable. And number 51, knowledge and skills. Knowledge and skills will be an outstanding barter item. People will need things done. People will not know how to do certain things, and having the ability to show them, to teach them, is going to be a valuable tool. Having the skills to do multiple aspects of keeping your community safe, protecting your community, or just protecting your small group and yourself, these will be tradable and valuable in a collapse type of situation. So those were 50 items that I feel like would hold really good value, and most of these are going to be pretty easy to store, and a lot of these we already have. So I hope the video was informative. Thanks a lot for watching. For now, Serious Survivor, out.